Okay. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you guys that are new, welcome. My name is Leeana, and I post new videos every single Sunday regarding different beauty tips, reviews, all things beauty. We do it all here. So if that is something that you guys are interested in watching more of, feel free to continue watching this video as well as subscribing to my channel so you can see all of my videos just like this in the past and in the upcoming future. For today's video, as you guys saw in the title, I am going to show you guys 3 different techniques that you guys can use to do your brows, starting from natural to neutral to defined. I have had so many people ask me about my brows, whether I'm at work and I have clients that are asking me about my brows, or on Instagram people always talk about my brows. I always do crazy looks and I'm doing the full glam, but occasionally when I do more natural looks, even like this today, I do like to have natural looking brows as well. And I think a lot of clients that I work with too would find it really helpful if they knew that there is not just one specific way to do your brows. There are so many different ways to do your brows. It is insane and through the roof, but today I figured I would just show you guys 3 different ways so that I can show you guys different techniques that you can use, and also show you different ways so that they can look more natural and also IG defined if that is something that you want as well. I am currently wearing nada on my brows right now. This is 100% plain. I wanted my brows to be completely bare so that I can show you guys the 3 different ways that you can do your brows. Before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you guys can see all of my videos in the future. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Alrighty, the first technique that we are going to use is the natural portion. A natural brow is supposed to look exactly like it sounds, as natural as possible, but still filled in just a little bit, where it gives your hairs just a little bit of an extra tint and also ensures that you are filling in any sparse areas so that it looks a little bit more full. To show you guys the natural look, I am going to use this dip brow gel from Anastasia. This one is in the shade Caramel. Obviously you can find whatever color works best for you. I'm going to show you guys the applicator that it comes in. So here is the way the applicator looks. This is a tinted brow gel and it comes in this spoolie shape so that you can use it literally just to brush along your hairs. So we're gonna start in the front and just be very, very gentle, guys. You're gonna be very light-handed with brushing it in the front. And I like to brush it upwards so that it looks a little bit more natural in the front. So brush it upwards here. And then you are going to just start brushing very lightly all throughout the rest of your brow. Pretty simple. Overall technique itself is pretty simple. The biggest part is just making sure that you are as light-handed as possible. You don't want to go heavy-handed at all with this. You want to be just very, very light and just brush it all the way through your brows. Now for any sparse areas that you may have, for me, my most sparse area is definitely right here in this corner and a little bit in the front. What you can do is just very lightly push and put down a little bit of pressure wherever you have the sparse areas, like here for example, and then brush it out again. This technique is pretty simple. The biggest part of it is really just making sure that you are keeping a light hand so that you have as much control as possible. And that is it for my natural brow. This is the first way that you can do your brows. It is literally so simple, so easy. I promise you guys, it takes a little bit of practice and just making sure that you're keeping a light hand. But as long as you are light, you're gonna have no problem doing this. This is the brow bare by itself, and this is with the products. It still looks like my natural brow. It's just a little bit bigger, a little bit fuller, and I just filled in the sparse areas just a little bit more. So it still looks natural, but it is a little bit darker and a little bit fuller. So that's way 1. The second kind of brow we are doing today is the neutral look. Now the neutral look is probably more of an everyday look that people go for. If you do wear a lot of makeup, or if you like more minimal makeup, you can still do your brows this way. This is definitely one of my favorite ways to do my brows. We are still going to be filling in those sparse areas and making the brows a little bit darker like we did in the natural technique, But in the neutral technique, the only bigger difference is that we're just going to be defining the brows a little bit more. We're going to create a little bit more of a shape to it, giving you a higher arch, and using some gel to really help push up your natural hairs as well. I am going to use the Goof Proof brow pencil from Benefit. This is absolutely one of my top favorites in the world. It is so good and so easy to use. I am currently using shade number 4, and it is dual-sided. It has a spoolie side on one side and of course the pencil side on the other. I'm going to start by brushing out my brows with the spoolie side. And when brushing it, you want to use the same technique that we did for the natural brows in terms of how you're brushing it upwards first in the front, and then brushing it thoroughly out sideways throughout the rest of the brow. That is going to help give you a basis and a shape so that you can draw and trace around your natural brows. Now that the hairs are brushed, I'm going to use the other side here, which is the actual product. Here's the way it looks. It's kind of triangular, so if you can see, it has a pointed tip at the top and then it comes down a little bit rounded, almost like a teardrop effect. And that's what's really going to help make it easy to fill in. So I'm going to hold it with the pointing tip facing downwards here. And I'm going to start by lining the bottom of my brow first. And it is okay to put a little bit of pressure, but not too much. And once you get to the end, what you're going to do is you're going to hold it and kind of drag it and release. And that's going to help give you that kind of sharp pointed tail at the end. You're going to do the same thing for the top portion here. And here's where we're going to kind of create that arch. So this is where the highest point is. And then you're just going to bring it down from here. And you're going to do the same thing, drag and release. Be very gentle. And it should meet at the end with the other tip of your brow. If you messed up the first time while doing this, that is perfectly normal. It is okay. Just get a Q-tip and just clean it up a little bit so that you can get the shape that you want. Next, I'm going to work towards the front of the brow and draw the lines at the front. So at this point, you should have the basic shape that you want right here. And all we're going to do from here is just very lightly and very gently fill in the brow with the same pencil. You want to be very light-handed while doing this so that it does look more natural. The harder you push down, the darker it's going to look and the more product that's going to come out, so it won't give you that neutral and natural look. And if you notice too, I'm not going back and forth like this. I'm just brushing it all in the same direction, just like this. Again, very light-handed. You don't want to be too heavy with it at all. Now when you get towards the front of your brow here, you go back using the spoolie side and you're just going to brush it. Brushing it upwards like you did before. Because you want the front to look more natural and you typically want to give your brows a more ombre effect, I like to brush it without putting too much product in the front so that it looks lighter in the front and then darker towards the end. So once you finish brushing it in the front, you're just going to do the same technique, brushing it all throughout the rest of the brow like this. And the final step for the neutral brow technique is we are going to use the NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. This is a clear invisible gel, and this is going to really help push up your natural hairs just so that it looks even more natural. So I'm just going to take that clear gel and just brush it all the way through. And we are still using the same technique in terms of brushing, where you brush upwards in the front and then sideways throughout the rest of the brow. And this, my friends, is brow number 2, the neutral method. You can definitely see a bigger difference between the bare brow and the neutral brow. It is a lot more defined and sharp, but you can still see a lot of the natural hairs through at the same time. And now for the final technique I'm going to show you guys. This is the IG Defined Snatched Brow. This is the one that you see on Instagram all the time where it's super exaggerated and defined. This brow is going to be super bold, super defined, super exaggerated. I probably would not do this as an everyday look. I definitely would do this if you are planning on doing a more full glam type of look or using a lot of eyeshadow. For the products we are going to use also from Benefit, the Precisely My Brow Pencil. We're going to use this to create the outline, and then we are going to fill it in with the also Benefit Foolproof Brow Pencil.
Oh my gosh, this is not a pencil.
I meant the brow powder, excuse me. We are going to be combining these two together, and then we are also going to use a brow gel as well on top, but we are also going to add a little help of our friendly concealer, and that is going to help really make it snatched. The Precisely My Brow Pencil is dual-sided just like the Goof Proof was, so we're going to use the same technique. I'm going to brush out the brows again just to make sure they are prepared and ready to go. Brushing upwards at the front and sideways throughout. This is really going to help give me a basis and a platform for where I'm going to trace out my brows. So step number 1, we are going to use the Precisely My Brow Pencil tip. If you guys can see, the tip is very, very exceedingly skinny, and you want that because that is going to help give us a very precise shape. I'm going to trace out my brows here. But we are using the same technique that we used for the neutral brow in the sense that we are lightly using strokes this way first and then holding it down at the end for the tip like this. I'm going to do the same thing for the top portion. Create your line that you want. At this point, your brow will look a little bit funny because you have it fully outlined, but you do have a basis now for how you want your brows to look. Next up, I'm going to use my brow powder, and I'm going to use that to fill in my brows here. You're just following inside the lines, using the lines that you created. I'm just going to use that and follow along. And I do like to start by going from around the middle and the end first, and then slowly leading up towards the front so that you still have that ombre effect. So once you get towards the front, I just take the brush and shift it this way. And I'm going to use very gentle pressure and use whatever powder is left over on the brush for the front portion. From here, I'm going to use the spoolie side of the brush. You can use any spoolie that you have, and I'm just going to do the same technique that we've been doing the whole entire time, brushing upwards and brushing throughout the rest of the brow. Next part, I'm going to use my brow gel from Benefit as well, the 24-hour brow setter. This stuff is absolute magic. It is super duper great. This is just another really good clear brow gel, and I'm going to use that for all throughout the rest of my brow. I like to spread it all throughout my hairs first and then brush it into place so that I can get as much of the clear brow gel product out as much as I can first. And then, of course, same technique, brushing upwards and brushing all throughout the brow so that the clear brow gel is getting all the way in there. My brow is already looking seriously snatched. And for the final portion, we are going to use the concealer, and that is really going to add that extra oomph of definition. I'm going to place my concealer directly below my brow. And you want to try to get it as close to your brow line that you made as possible. Then we're going to do the same thing to the top portion. How do I look? And lastly, I am going to use a concealer brush. I like to use this flat tipped brush. It's really small and precise, so it's really easy to blend all of this into place. I'm going to start by making sure I'm following closely along the line and slowly dragging it right below so that it's very sharp. Just like so. You want to be very careful, very gentle, and create a nice even line of concealer below the brow. And then whatever you have left over, you just brush it downwards all throughout the rest of the base of your lid. For the top portion, we're going to do the same thing. Making sure we are following that line and really cutting close to get that defined line. And same thing, you're just going to brush out whatever you have remaining of the concealer. This right here is the IG Snatched Defined Brow. I know now you guys can see a major difference between the Bare Brow and the super OG Snatched Defined Brow. I would not recommend this brow when you are doing a natural look, especially like how I did today. This is definitely a brow that you would do more for full glam looks. If you are going all out though in a really nice full glam intricate look, this is definitely a really nice brow to go with. And you can see too how the concealer really gave it some extra definition. It really made it sharp and just cut it right into place. Alrighty babes, and that was 3 different techniques that you guys can use for your brows, starting from a more natural look to a neutral everyday kind of look to a super IG snatched defined look. I want you guys to know 2 things really quickly before I go. One is that these are not the only 3 ways that you can do brows. I literally have so many other techniques that I use for my brows. Definitely so many other ones that you guys can find. So if you find other techniques that work for you, that is perfectly fine. These are just some techniques that I wanted to share with you guys because I figured they were good ways to show you how you can get a nice looking brow, whether you are someone that prefers natural brows, everyday brows but still looking sharp, or super duper defined brows. The second thing I want you guys to know is that everybody's face is different. Like I was saying, everybody has their own unique styles and facial structures. So some of these brow looks may not be 100% appealing to your facial structure, and that is perfectly fine too. It's all a matter of what you like, what you prefer. It's going to be on your face, so you get to choose what you like and what you don't like. All of this for me was just something that I wanted to share with you guys because a lot of people always ask me how I do my brows personally, and these are a few techniques that I like to show my clients when I'm teaching them how to do their brows as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give it a thumbs up on this channel, and also do not forget to subscribe to my channel because we always got good stuff like this all the time. I do post videos every single Sunday, but occasionally I do post videos on Wednesday because sometimes I can't wait a whole week to show you guys another video. So if you would like to get notified when I do post those bonus videos, please make sure that you hit the bell right next to the subscribe button so that you guys can get that notification when I do have those bonus videos up. Go ahead, feel free to comment down below what products you guys like to use for your brows. In the meantime, have a blessed and safe week, and I will see you guys all next week. Alright, adios. See, that's what happens when I try to do something new. I just mess up. IG defined, if that is the starting from a more natural, ow, ooh, yeah, I didn't say that right.